How to deploy your army. This is a question that we get all of the time, and this is really where you can make some massive mistakes. And often games are really won and lost in deployment. So this next lesson we've got for you is how I deploy my Space Marine Gladius Task Force, and more importantly, the reasons why I have the units on the battlefield as they currently stand. Because once you fundamentally know the reasons why, whether it's moving out to score points, hold objectives, kill enemy units, or keep your units safe, you can hopefully apply that knowledge to your army at home. Now, this video that you're about to watch is one that myself and Michael have put together for the Masterclass. Now, this is a free lesson that we're going to go over, and this is part of the series that we've got for free to show you exactly what the Masterclass content is all about. And if you really like the content and you want to get the rest of the Masterclass from all the different detachments and all the other codexes that have been released so far, check out the link below, get signed up, and we really, really hope you enjoy this next lesson on how to deploy your Space Marine army.
The army is on the table, Stephen. Talk me through your thought process. What's the first thing you need to think about when you're deploying an army?
Okay, so obviously we need to think about, which leaders are going to be joining what units. So that's really easy for us. In this list, we've got that Judicer. He's going to be going with 6 Blade Guard, and he's going to be starting in one of the Impulsors.
Okay.
We've then got the 2 captains. They're going to both be riding with 5 Assault Intercessors. Okay, and one of those units is going to be in the Impulsor.
Okay.
Okay. The Biologus is going to go with the Aggressors. Calgar is also going to go with the Aggressors as well.
Fantastic. Reserves?
Reserves, I'm going to put 1 unit of the Jump Pack Infantry in Deep Strike. If I couldn't deploy them, they were the last unit that I dropped on the table because they're the one sort of unit where you've got to think about, like, do you literally have enough space? So when you're practicing at home, have that as your last drop when you're practicing. So then you know exactly what actually fits on the table.
Yeah.
And
then when it comes to the event,
you know,
and you can say, okay, right, I can't fit it on the table.
Exactly, and this is where practicing your deployment is so important. This obviously is, what we teach you on the academy, right? So, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Because I can fit, 1 unit down, 1 unit's going to stay. Means I've got a nice little reaching unit turn 1 potentially.
Okay, fantastic. So that's sort of the pre-battle step here. So infiltrating, what's our process with infiltrating?
Well, if you've got infiltrators, Michael, I'm going to try and put my infiltrators down first of all.
Okay. And where is your first infiltrating drop if I've also got infiltrators?
The first one is going to be in the middle.
Okay.
Because this does 2 things for me. It really helps me secure that middle objective. It means I can put some pressure on. It also means that I can deny one of your potential shooting angles on me.
Okay.
All right.
And that's interesting on this board, the GW open terrain.
Yes.
Which angle are you blocking?
So there's only one angle that you can shoot my Centurions from. And that is, at the minute, if you try to get here, you'll miss me.
Okay.
And if you obviously go this way, you'll miss. If you start to come round, though, you can start to hit me if you're here.
Right, and this is considered 2 inches or lower, so you can actually move over this with a vehicle?
Yeah, exactly. So you need to get on this other side. So I've positioned myself within 6 of this for my scout move. So even if I go second, I can put my models here, and all of a sudden, I can be in a place which means that you might not be able to get an angle on me because of that scout move.
Absolutely. And even if you have to stay 9 inches away from whatever's already deployed, you're still able to prevent a footprint on that other side of that ruin. Exactly.
Like if something big and nasty, like a vehicle, probably wants to shoot me,
yeah,
I might just need to go there to block out your position to drop there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always important with your strong shooting assets to strike first.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So if I now deploy an infiltrating unit over on this side, what's the process for your third deployment? So if I put infiltrators here, where does your second infiltrating unit go?
Probably just on here to stop you having the easy one.
Fantastic.
Right, because that's the one you probably want.
Okay.
So I'll just stop you getting that.
Great. And if I go over this side?
Then I'm over here and I'll get my easy one.
All right, fantastic. And if I go in the middle?
Then I'll probably go take my easy one still.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic.
Because I want to make sure I can fortify this objective. So this is my fortify. This is my non-negotiable objective. That's going to be my sabotage, and this is my kill zone.
Okay, fantastic. Now, obviously, if your opponent doesn't have any infiltrating units, then you don't feel the need at all to deploy your infiltrators until the last thing on the table, because you want to give your opponent an idea of exactly where they want to go.
Yep.
Maybe you want to block off some scout moves and such.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Fantastic. So after the scouts then, what have we got happening on the table?
Well, I'm going to put the infiltrators down next. So they can't be shot as it currently stands because of the way that they're positioned. Either they're blocked by terrain features or being behind, the ruins.
Yep.
And I've positioned them in a way that means that you can't drop in 12 inches anywhere here before it starts to touch to another unit. And I also haven't given the game away as to what I'm doing. So I've already put 3 drops down, and you're really none the wiser of what I'm going to do.
Okay, and the next unit?
The big brick of Calgar and friends right in the middle, they need to be nice and safe, and I just need to make sure that there's no firing angles so that you can shoot them basically. And if there are any fire angles, I'll let you have 1 but not 2.
Yes, fantastic, absolutely fantastic, cool. And as the opponent, I know this unit can go either way on the tabletop, so I'm really none the wiser to your tactics. Okay, so when we deploy, obviously we always think about the objectives, and that kind of determines our deployment as we teach on the academy. So for our objective, we want to hold the fortify.
Yeah.
What's our deployment setup?
So I've got the impulsor here, okay, and it's got that 5+ invuln, so anything that can come and create an angle to shoot down here, is it really going to be able to kill an impulsor? It's going to have to be a small footprint of a unit as well. You're not going to get many shots, so with a 5+ invuln, maybe I pop a bit of smoke, should keep me alive.
I mean, if it doesn't, then that is a big tank that we've sent out.
Yes.
There are some very dangerous units right next to that impulsor.
Yes, so even if you do kill it with the tank, then my unit still gets out 3 inches, which is the Blade Guard and the Judicer, and they could just move and advance up against the wall here.
Okay.
Now this means, with the Blade Guard and the Judicer in this unit, in this building, because you can't shoot them because of the terrain, you also can't really charge them because they've got that fight first. Nobody wants to charge into 6 Blade Guard with a Judicer. You have to be really packing some good durability, like -1 damage, 4+ feel no pain, really good armor save to even bother going into that. Maybe Angron goes in, but Angron's still going to take some damage going in anyway.
Yeah. Or maybe use some tricks that we teach on the academy.
All that.
Getting around fights first. Okay, cool. So we've got them, and as I mentioned, the Devastator Centurions. Any particular reason why they're on this area of the board?
This is actually my last drop.
Okay.
Because I don't want you to know where they're going to go.
Yeah, fantastic.
Well, unfortunately, I've made this lesson, so it's obvious. But aside from that, I wouldn't normally...
If you're ever paired up against Stephen and he's playing Gladius Task Force...
Damn it.
You just watched this video the night before.
People have done that.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. So, yes, they would go there.
Cool.
All right.
Okay.
Now, over in the corner here, again, Impulsor in a place where it could get shot, but only by minimal things.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Potentially. And then we've got the 5 Assault Intercessors with the Captain that I definitely don't want to get shot, so they have to be 100% hidden. And then also for my Assault Jump Pack guys.
Okay.
All right.
Fantastic. So back to the Centurions. Actually, you know what? Let's move first turn, and I think everything will start to make sense. All right. So let's imagine you're going first, and we'll move all the models.
Now, one thing I want to say though with the scouts.
Okay.
This is important. They're positioned so that they're wholly within 6 inches of the terrain feature.
Right.
So if I go second and you don't have any good shooting threats that can come here and cut an angle, I can move back and hide. Same for this unit. But this unit's positioned in such a way that I can move back 6 inches and not even end on the objective. So that if you drew Overwhelming Force or a card that requires you to kill a unit on an objective, you're not really going to care.
Yeah.
So again, like if there's any sort of mission parameters around killing units on objectives, I'm not on any.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. And in addition, if there's like a primary mission that rewards you for kills,
yes,
you're now hiding all of your assets.
Exactly
completely.
that.
Fantastic. Okay.
So the first thing is the scout moves.
Okay, cool.
So am I going first?
So let's look at going first, and we can talk about the differences about going second. We'll move everything, and then we'll come back. And that's turn 1 movement. What are we looking at, Steve?
All right, so I'm assuming a few things. I need to be on lots of objectives.
Okay.
All right, so a few things I want to do here. I don't know what my card draw would be, but as you can see from my positioning, I've got units on objectives that could potentially do some actions for me, if that's what they need to do.
Yep.
I've got good spread of where my units are for different places of the table. So yeah, there's lots of things I can do here. Now what I've done is I've got the Judicer out and the Blade Guard, and they're just sitting on this objective. That meant the Impulsor was free to advance over this piece of terrain and also get its, just OC on the objective. I've got an empty Impulsor here. Do you really want to shoot that, Michael?
Probably no.
Probably not, but you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Because if you don't waste some firepower on it, then it's going to be my objective.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what I've done with this unit of scouts and this unit of scouts, I've created a 3-inch gap here between the two units. Both units are an inch away from the wall, but this also means any shooting units you had here can't move through the wall now. So you're completely penned in here. The only firing angle you've got is down this way, which you might be able to shoot some of my blade guard potentially. Maybe you can see a sword or something.
Depends on the terrain, yeah.
It really depends on the size of the terrain, but maybe not. If I felt like you had shooting here, then I'll just position him there. And if I felt like you had more shooting here, I'd position this guy there. So depending on where your models are, that's going to be really important. But we're going to try and keep this unit safe. You have to, if you want to charge me, you need to come through the wall, okay? Which means now you're out in the open. And there's no objectives nearby for you to move back and hide. So it means you're fair game for me to shoot you. I'm then also using the impulsor to block as much line of sight as I possibly can to my Centurions, which might block some, it might not block everything. But also my Centurions have advanced because I'm assuming I'm in the Devastator Doctrine, so it allows me to shoot and still do things for free. This unit now has got, we assumed I rolled a 3 or a 4, gets me in a position where all of the las cannons have got good range right the way down here. So if you've put anything there, great. If not, then do you know what, they can probably tuck in a little bit tighter here, or even if I rolled big, get myself round here as well, seeing where your units are for me to really threaten. And that's why they're my last drop as well. So I can sometimes put them in a place, which means if you have given me a nice tank, I can maybe get eyes on it turn 1. Aggressors in Calgar are up against the wall in the middle. Absolutely fine with that. They're tanky enough if you want to come and charge me. I can fall back and shoot, fall back and charge, do what I want with this unit, okay? Any sort of combat threats, if they were here, I could have penned them in with the scouts this way instead and shifted the whole scout, pen this way if needed.
You've got Scout 6 and then you've got an advanced move as well.
Exactly.
So you've got a lot of movement there. And I think one thing we haven't mentioned yet is actually squad tactics.
Yes.
And you've set some rather cheeky ways to use it. Obviously, you've got it where you might tempt someone by trying to charge it just because you're touching the wall.
Yeah.
All it takes is a 1 on a squad tactics and you can be an inch from the wall.
Yes.
If you've got that rule in play.
And also, I'm within 9 inches. So if you want to come and just put some models on the objective to take the objective off me, off the impulsor, now I can squad tactics.
And if you've got more CP, you can squad tactics and then heroically intervene.
Yeah, so I could squad tactics forward if I felt like you didn't really have the ranged attacks to hurt the unit and you weren't going to charge me anyway. Especially if you've made an advance roll and you can't advance and charge, then it's fair game, right? So potentially, I might just move on there knowing that you can't hurt me and then cool, I'm sat with more OC on it than you.
I also like the potential of the scouts to squad tactics and get in the impulsor.
Yes.
I think that's a really tricksy, I don't even know if you intended that, but it looks
You
like
can
a
do
really
that, yeah.
good thing to do, because if somebody maybe sets up a charge for the scouts to consolidate onto this objective,
Yeah.
you can now get the scouts completely out of the picture.
You could.
And sort of fumble their plans.
Yeah.
This flank then, talk me through this.
So because I know I've penned in a lot of your shooting lines here, what I've done is I'm just having the assault intercessors position. That means if you want to come and kill this unit, you have to come and take them in combat. So I know that I'm safe from shooting attacks. Come and kill me in combat, please. If I feel like you've got a unit that I want you to come and kill me with, because I can now start the trading. If you don't come and kill me, it's more points on the primary for me. Or maybe it was secondary points, because now I've got my captain and my unit of assault intercessors here. I can disembark 3, I can move, so yeah, that's there. So I've got 9 inches before I even advance. I might not need to use advance and charge because that's set up in a good place. And because of the assault intercessors, you're on the objective, I get reroll wounds and I get extra OC because I'm assault intercessors, I'm those battle line units. So if you do try and come and get me, cool. They come out, they move, they charge, they kill you. Meanwhile, the next unit gets in.
Yes.
So I've got 2 turns of that kind of pseudo advance and charge. And as soon as that's done, the impulse is then free to come and give some backup on that objective.
Yeah, fantastic. And obviously you can go in one turn with the unit, kill a unit, then when your opponent charges you, you can fight on death, kill another unit. So you can essentially trade twice for any single one of these captain units for just a CP, which I think is fantastic.
And with the second unit, you keep them always within the impulsor range here, so if you get close to me, I can squad tactics back in.
Yes, because you don't care about holding this,
No.
you just care about taking it off your opponent.
Exactly that. That is our
Excellent.
sabotage, yeah. And then Calgar's obviously in the middle to hold the midfield. He's going to wait for his time. And between the Assault Centurions and him, I can decide which unit I need to put out. Loads of little gribblies, cool, Calgar steps out. Anything big and nasty, well, do you know what? Either units kill both. So they're so reliable that we're in a really good place with these.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So let's talk through what might change if you went second.
Okay, so not a huge amount really. My first turn would still probably look the same.
Yeah.
If you've pushed units here, I might either, depending on what it is, charge you with this unit and be in the same place, or get out the impulsor and potentially go that way. Or this impulsor just still stays there if I feel like I'm not going to make the distance up. That unit just stays there anyway. Okay, and I'll go for the assault intercessors. This unit is hidden, it's going to move to there. The scouts though, depending on what your firing lanes are looking like, I might move them to scout in a place that blocks your line of sight from you dropping models. Or
Like
I
we
might,
discussed earlier.
yeah, or I just scout move them back into buildings, and then obviously I can move back out to this position in my turn. So it doesn't really change a huge amount.
Okay.
All right. So that's what I do like about it. It's very versatile in that respect.
Fantastic. And I assume the 5 jump pack unit in Deep Strike is just there ready to score a card if you need it.
Exactly that, yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
So there we go. That is how I would deploy this Gladius army.
Excellent, fantastic. Well, in that case, let's move on to some of those advanced tactics. I'm looking forward to seeing what tricks you can teach us in this next lesson. And with that, we'll see you there.
So hopefully you enjoyed that lesson and got some value from it, and you see a much better way to play your Space Marines. Now, if you do want to get your hands on the rest of the Masterclass series, then you can get your first month at half price. So check out the link below and get signed up for the Masterclass subscription series.